Shigurui Defrenzy is one hell of an anime. It's a series based on the first 32 chapters of the manga, which was written by Takayuki Yamaguchi. It was directed by Hiroshi Hamazaki, who also did the animations for Ninja Scroll. The story begins in 1629 Japan during Tokugawa Tadanaga's rule. The daimyo stages a tournament where the participants have to fight with real steel samurai swords rather than bokken. The story begins and revolves around a match between a one-armed swordsman named Fujiki Genisuke and a blind samurai named Arako Saigen. The rest of the show then deals with the circumstances that led to these two participants fighting in this tournament. So, first off, I'd like to warn everyone that this is an extremely violent and gory anime. There's constant quick and gruesome images of gore and violence. The camera never focuses on it long, but it's just long enough to get the picture. You will see swords slicing into mouths, decapitations, geysers of blood. Like, in the first few minutes of the show, you watch a guy debowel himself with his own freaking hand. So, now that I got that out of the way, now you know what we're dealing with. As for the rest of the anime that isn't violence, it's actually pretty calm. It focuses mostly on depicting the grim and very dark atmosphere, and it keeps this really dark feeling throughout. There's never really a peaceful moment, but instead it's like a nightmarish, calm feeling that you get. The best way I could describe this anime is by saying it's a mixture of both David Lynch and Takashi Miike. And lucky for me, I happen to like those two things a lot. But the narrative could be kinda hard to follow at times, and it's definitely not for everyone. I'd also like to add that the score does a really great job at adding to the atmosphere, and you really feel it. It's calm but dark, and if you're looking for fast-paced rock music, you won't find that here. It's quite the opposite. This is actually a pretty great depiction of what samurai life was like during the Tokugawa period during the 1600s. And as much as I love samurai and always wanted to be one, this is a pretty good reality check. Samurai combat was very brutal and very messy, and there was nothing nice about it. And this anime really does a great job at depicting it accurately. So this anime has two really great things going for it. One is its story. The story is really good and very interesting. The other is its characters. The characters all stand out as very different, and you actually care about more than one of them. There's also great character development, and you watch these characters grow into different people, slowly becoming who they were in the first episode. Fujiki Genisuke is a star pupil of the Kogen Dojo. Before the flashback, we see him in this duel with Arako, and he has only one arm. It's also noted that his back muscles have been strengthened to make up for this loss in strength. Fujiki is very loyal to his master Kogan, and he is said to be the most likely to succeed as his school's master. Arako Saigon is an ambitious man whose main concern is raising his status, and unlike Fujiki, who has genuine love and respect for the school and its fortunes, Arako cares very little besides money and rank. Before the flashback, he's blind, and he has a deep cut on one of his feet. The anime does a lot of switching back and forth between these two characters, and eventually it leads up to their eventual fight. Ushimada Gonzaman is a master of the Kogan Ryo School, and he is Fujiki's senior. He's a really big and strong man both physically and mentally. He uses this really big wooden sword, which Arako calls a Subarito, and he uses it with ease, swinging it at these insane speeds. In the beginning, when Arako enters the dojo, he comes in all cocky, and he even defeats Fujiki with ease. But when he faces Ushimada Ushimada just destroys him, and we get to see his true skill. And it's pretty terrifying. I like Ushimada a lot. He's both calm and wise, and basically what every teacher should be. Kogan Iwamoto is a terrifying character. He's a grandmaster of the Kogan Ryo school. He's extremely mentally unbalanced, but for some reason gains his sanity during the period of fall and winter. Kogan also cares nothing about his daughter Miya, and he just sees her as his tool to continue his bloodline. He has 6 fingers on one of his hands, and his special technique is called Nagaro Boshi, which means shooting star. It's a technique known and feared by many samurai, and it's the one that Arako's life mission is to learn. Miya Iwamoto is a daughter of Kogan, and she's married to Arako, but instead she wants to be with his arch enemy Fujiki. And this creates this really interesting conflict between these two main characters that already hate each other. It's also worth noting that the animations are done extremely well, and you can really tell that there is some pretty good talent behind this. Shigurui Death Frenzy is a psychotic trip into the brutality of the Tokugawa era. It's not just all bloodshed and ultra-violence, and it does feature a pretty deep story with characters that develop. The animations are beautifully done, and you could tell a lot of skill is behind it. Death Frenzy is definitely not for everyone, and especially with its violence and gore and lynching style. I can also see this being pretty hard to follow for people who are just used to the standard action anime and not whatever this style is. Shigurui Death Frenzy is definitely a hidden gem, and it's worth checking out for anyone that wants something different and dark. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to join me on my Discord where you can get full interaction with me and help pick the next video. Thank you.